Today, we're not just looking at a crime. We're going to conduct a full forensic investigation into a kind of psychological weapon. It's a system that criminals have engineered, not to break your computer, but to break your spirit, and most importantly, to guarantee your silence.
And let's be really clear about this. The system we're about to dissect is, well, it's insidious. It doesn't use force. Instead, it brilliantly turns a victim's own self-respect, their own dignity, into the bars of a cage. You see, the real theft isn't just the money. It's the hijacking of your confidence, making sure that you become the silent, unwilling partner who protects the criminal by being too embarrassed to ever report what happened.
So to really get how this works, we're going to walk through our investigation in 6 parts. We'll start by identifying the weapon itself. Then we'll break down the criminal's system step by step, explore the psychology that makes it all so effective. And then, and this is the most important part, we'll build a concrete protocol for your defense. All right, so let's start with the main goal of this entire criminal operation. It's not just to steal from you. It's to enforce your total silence, using the incredibly powerful weapon of shame. You know, this entire system is built on one of our most basic human fears, something that goes way back to our earliest days, the social evaluative threat. It's that gut-wrenching dread of being judged by our peers, of losing our status, of being cast out of our tribe. Criminals know they don't have to threaten you physically when they can tap into this much deeper, much more paralyzing fear. And wow, this really shows you the staggering success of that strategy. This chart, it's based on extensive research from groups like FINRA and AARP, and it shows a pretty bleak reality. Most fraud is never, ever reported. And it's not because there's no evidence, it's because the victims have been conditioned to prioritize saving face over getting justice or getting their money back. That silence is the crime's true shield. Okay, so now let's get into the nuts and bolts of how this fear is weaponized. We're going to look at how it's built into a structured, repeatable, and just devastatingly effective system for hijacking a person's reputation. So, the manipulation follows this very clinical 4-stage process. First up is targeting and ego loading. This is where the scammer showers you with praise, makes you feel special, just to raise the stakes, to raise that reputation cost of admitting you made a mistake. Then comes the confidentiality pretext, where they frame it as an exclusive deal to make sure you're totally isolated. After that is the reveal, where they hit you with something called a mockery script to trigger paralyzing shame. And finally, they use that shock during what's called the permanent silence window to just disappear. Right, stage 2, that confidentiality pretext, this is often the point of no return. The scammer will frame everything as this exclusive partnership or some confidential opportunity. They'll say things like, hey, this is just for us, or don't tell your family just yet, let's surprise them with the good news. But this isn't about keeping a fun secret. It's about one thing, isolation. What they're really doing is deliberately cutting you off from anyone you trust, your spouse, your accountant, that one skeptical friend who would spot the scam in a heartbeat. Now, what's really fascinating here is the life cycle of this whole crime. After the initial scam, the criminal is counting on that period of shock and shame, that silence window where the victim is just hiding the truth. And that gives the criminal plenty of time to vanish. But the most cynical part? It's the recovery scam pivot. Weeks, maybe months later, another criminal, sometimes it's the very same person, will call you up pretending to be a helpful official, maybe a lawyer, maybe an FBI agent, offering a discreet way to get your money back. For a fee, of course. They re-exploit the very same shame they created in the first place. So why is this whole system so psychologically crushing? Why does the brain of a smart, capable person just shut down when faced with this kind of manipulation? Well, the answer lies in a very specific quirk of our brains. This whole system is powered by something called the spotlight effect. You know that feeling, right? That intense, irrational feeling that everyone is looking at you, that your mistake is the size of a giant billboard and your failure is public knowledge. Victims feel like their mistake is this catastrophic public event, when in reality, it's barely a blip on anyone else's radar. The scammer knows this, and they absolutely weaponize that feeling. And this slide really shows you that intense internal battle. The victim's belief, which is just cranked up to 11 by the spotlight effect, is that their character is permanently stained. Their brain goes into what you could call social panic. It's a fight or flight response where that primal need to protect your social standing completely overrides the logical desire to get your money back. Your reputation has effectively been taken hostage. Okay, now we're gonna get really granular. We're gonna analyze the specific linguistic tools, the verbal weapons that these criminals use to surgically implant and anchor shame deep, deep inside a victim's mind. So right when the scam is revealed, here's where the manipulation flips. The criminals deploy what we call a mockery script. And these aren't just random insults. They use phrases that are engineered to trigger maximum social fear. They'll say things like, "How are you gonna explain this to your kids?" to attack your role as a parent. Or, "The authorities will think you were in on it," to attack your standing as a good citizen. Or just, "You were so naive," to attack your intelligence. Every single line is a precision strike designed to paralyze you. And right there, that is the psychological choke point. It's that moment where the victim concludes that speaking up is only going to make things worse. They form this belief that staying quiet is the only way to hold on to whatever dignity they have left, even as their bank account is empty. Silence starts to feel like the only sane choice in a situation that the criminal has engineered to be completely insane. And then they layer on other tactics. They use authority props, like sending you a fake FBI or IRS warning about aiding a criminal, to create this institutional fear, making you afraid that if you report the crime, you'll be the one who gets arrested. They'll use the legacy ruse, framing the loss as the end of your reputation, to create such profound social fatigue that you just give up. The whole system is designed to create this closed loop of fear that feels like there's no way out. Okay, so now that we've taken this entire attack apart, piece by piece, we can do the one thing the criminal is praying you'll never do: build a clear, rational, and actionable plan for defense. The very first line of defense is just simple pattern recognition, and it all comes down to this one single unbreakable rule. If any opportunity, any investment, any process requires you to keep secrets from the people you trust, it is not a legitimate opportunity. It is, with 100% certainty, a sham trap being set for you. Secrecy is the lubricant that makes this entire criminal machine run. Now, if you find yourself in a situation like this, the next thing you do is conduct an immediate externalization audit. Think of it like a 3-step mental reset to separate who you are from what a criminal did to you. First, reframe. You're not stupid. You were targeted by a professional system. Second, find social proof. Go look at official reports from the FBI or the FTC. You'll see that people from all backgrounds, all education levels, get targeted by these systems. You are not alone. And finally, depersonalize. Analyze what happened as if it happened to a friend. What would you tell them to do? This helps you bypass all those emotional filters of shame. And this right here illustrates the single most powerful countermeasure. It's the one thing that short-circuits this entire system: immediate disclosure. The second a tiny sliver of doubt enters your mind, you have to tell one trusted person. It doesn't have to be the whole world, just one. That single act breaks the isolation loop that the criminal's entire strategy depends on. It lets the light in. All right, let's bring this whole investigation to a close by focusing on the ultimate takeaway, the fundamental principle that just completely dismantles this entire psychological weapon. This is the core protective principle. It's a mantra to help you reclaim your story. Because reporting a crime is not an admission of failure. It is an act of resilience. It is a refusal to let a criminal define you. Your story isn't about being foolish. It's about being targeted by a predator. And sharing that truth, it's not just for you. It helps protect other people too. Ultimately, the shame that you feel is the criminal's cloak of invisibility. It's what allows them to operate, to steal, and to just move on to their next target with zero consequences. When you speak the truth, you strip them of that protection. You expose the system. So let's reframe this entire conversation. Being the victim of a sophisticated crime isn't a character flaw. Recognizing it, reporting it, and talking about it, that's a sign of strength. Thanks for watching.